is the biggest market cap in the Philippines? 1, 2, 3, SMIC, SM Prime Video. This is not because I am the CFO. But if you insist, okay lang. Okay. The other one, next. This is just to show you. If you have invested 13 years ago, which is the IPO year, then your money will be worth 7 times today. After taking that into account, this stock dividend, your money will grow by, if you have invested 1 million, you'll be 7 million today. Plus the cash dividend that you are receiving, you receive throughout the years. As a corporate policy, we share the income with our shareholders. We made a policy to declare at least 30% of our net income every year as cash dividends. Ten-year performance. Asset grew by 14% compounded annually over the last 10 years. Revenue, 12% compounded annually growth. Net income, 11% compounded annual growth. Earning per share, of course, 10, but because of the stock dividend, you increase the number of shares. PE ratio from 13.2, that is 2008, 10 years ago, to 32. When is this? 2018, July? When? March 31. See, SM is all over. Well, I am well protected. Okay. Oh, this is what I'm saying now. The footprint. Retail, as I said, you have the department store, supermarket, etc. A total of that is about how many stores? 2,000 stores all over. And then SM Prime, we have 68 and 7 in China. Condominium is 110. So team, 110 condominium. Commercial office, 8 buildings. Banking, video, China Bank, bank branches, almost 2,000. Okay, this is just all the information. But how did we get there? How did we get there from, in 10 years' time? As I said, I told you that when I joined, we have only 2 department stores, 1 supermarket, and 1 property development. This is my opinion. I think it's division. Vision, think big. Mr. Sita, think big, ahead of his time. I guess, to me, he has a destiny. He has a destiny. Think big, but start small. Move fast. Otherwise, other people will just grab the opportunity. Here, again, work hard, perseverance. Creative solution. Think out of the box. I guess this is now where the entrepreneurship comes in. Because Mr. C did not go into Harvard, because Mr. C did not work with multinational, she always think of out of box. So, when we hire top executive, of course we ask them where did they come from, etc., and where did you study. But beyond them, UP, TNA, all of that, we always emphasize, think out of box. There must be better way of doing of what is being taught in the school. Ambitious, you are willing to work hard. You are willing to be bold. You are willing to sacrifice. Customer focus. Because we are retailer, we should know. It's not a question of what we can offer to the customer. Where do we want to put the store? It's the other way around. We should know what the customer wants from us. Where the customer wants to buy, we go there. Again, this is the priority that Mr. C has always emphasized. Don't go into project that you don't know. Don't go into project or business that you don't have competitive advantage. When you go into that business, try to be the leader in that business. Go in public. Use other people's money. But make sure you do what you say. Okay. Again, over the last 2 years, corporate governance, corporate governance 10 years ago is the darling of the public investor. Every time you go, they talk about what's your corporate governance, what's your plan. But now, you go around, especially Japan, Northern Europe, there's question of what's your environmental policy? What's your social responsibility policy? There are companies, big fund, that invest only companies that have environmental and social responsibility. To us, and mind you, there are only few listed companies in the Philippines that has an annual ESG annual report. An investor is asking for that. Big time investor asking, where's your ESG report? Marine protected areas, Pico de Loro. We devoted 10,000 or 1,000 hectares protected area for marine and 1,000 hectares for forestry protected areas. Responsibility, water, energy management. We do this in all our malls. Energy, efficient use of energy, we hire people to study on this. Renewable energy, we started in North Asia. If you notice, North Asia, it's a panel of solar energy. We don't use energy anymore, but the solar panel, and we are implementing this to all our malls. Social responsibility, education. We have now almost 6,000 college, fully funded college graduates all over the Philippines. And mind you, I am the president of the SM Foundation, that's all I know. Health and wellness. These are the, we have motor, health, mobile, yeah, where volunteers doctor, volunteers nurses, goes to the province to offer free medical services, and in turn, many OFW contributed free, especially just in the medicine, doctors, nurses. They contribute medicines. So we distribute this in the provinces. Disaster. And every disaster, we are there. We have already created over 1,000 disaster resilient housing doon sa Ondoy, doon sa Ontalete. Yeah, Tacloban. Livelihood program, farmers. We teach the farmer. They have a 3-month course. We are teaching the farmers. So far, we have taught over 20,000 of farmers how to plant, how to cultivate efficiently. In turn, their produce are being sold in our supermarket. Governance. I say, to me, governance, how come we have this animal called corporate governance? When I was in college, there is no such thing as corporate governance. Everywhere I go, there's a corporate governance. Where does this come from? So I told the tingnan mo kung saan galing itong corporate governance, bakit meron na ngayon dito? I asked some college student, wala naman tinuturo sa amin corporate governance sa college. So, well, you say, it was in 17th century, we had corporate governance in Northern Europe, etc. And then it became pronounced in the year 2000 because of this Enron, because of this AIU, because of this Arthur Anderson. Yeah. These are just a group of people or a department that make lousy decisions that connives, that then affected the whole organization of Enron, AIU, the parent company of Pilgrim Life, Arthur Anderson, etc. And so the U.S. was then coming up with string of reorganization called corporate governance because they want to protect the investor. If that is so, then I said, no, why should we only protect the investor? In the case of SM, to the investor, I say we should be transparent and we should provide you with adequate return of your investment or more. That's our responsibility to the investor. When I say investor, it's not only minority, but the majority investor also. Second, to our supplier that we pay on time. To our tenant, I say it is our responsibility to make sure that our mall provide them with adequate customer. Failing that, we failed as a property developer. To the government, we say we must pay the right taxes. If we want a safe environment, if we want a clean road, then we should pay the right taxes. And to our people, we should be fair to our people. We should provide them with all the opportunity for them to grow. So it's not only the investor. You got a whole range of stakeholders in our corporation. Okay. What's the difference between a family-controlled corporation and a professional corporation? I came from there. I came from a professional organization, and I came from now with the family corporation. I guess a family corporation have long-term view. When we decide to buy a property, we're not talking about the return of this year or next year. We're talking of how that property will contribute to us 5 years, 10 years down the road. If you go to EDSA, if you go to Pasong Tamo, EDSA, you see SMDC, SMDC, SMDC. Pasong Tamo, SMDC, SMDC. So, being a finance man, I called Henry C. Jr., big boy. Big boy, ang advertisement natin masyadong marami. Gastos yan. What advertisement? Oh, sabi ko doon sa EDSA, ang daming kwan. No, we own those property. We own those property. Pasong Tamo, we own those property. Eh sabi ko, carrying cost is high. You pay taxes, you pay interest, you pay what? Maintenance, etc. I mean, that's the difference between entrepreneur and new finance man. You only count figures. You say, you cannot replace those opportunities. If I don't get it, I will never get it. Others people will get it. If you want to protect your growth, you have to protect your future. Entrepreneur spirit. That's a family corporation. Okay. So, number one is trust. Number one is trust. You can buy talent. Huh? You can buy degree. You can buy people with degree. Huh? But you cannot buy trust. So number one is trust. Even though how good you are, if you are not trustworthy, what for? Focus and commitment. Yes, family corporation like that. Agility in mission decision making. How come video has gone from a saving to a BBDS bank? Because they decide so quick. They decide so quick. If we have problem within 1 hour, that's decided. Other corporation, if they have problem, you create a committee, you create a department to decide. Then it will take you 1 month, 2 months before decision is made. Agility, deep insight in the industry. As I said, Mr. C said, don't go into industry that you don't know. Once you know, once you go there, make sure you have a competitive advantage. You got to know your competitor, forecast, customer, supplier, everything. Of course, family succession. Family succession. There is a study. Family corporation in Asia, mostly Chinese family corporation. And the conclusion is, first generation is always up, second generation plateau, the third generation down. Why? Because first generation, he has nothing. He came from a poor background. He has to work hard. Second generation, meron ng sweetener of life. Masaya na, gimmick na. Eh, nag-platong business. Lalo na yung third generation, happy-happy na. Pabayaan mo lang hire people, bayaan mo yung business, you hire people. Okay, so SM, first generation is like that. Second generation goes up. Before you have only one Mr. C, now you have 6 Mr. C. And I told Mr. C, you are successful not only in business, you are successful in raising your family. University of SM. Sabi niya, I don't send my children to this school. I send them to SM University. You have now 6 Mr. C. How can you fight? Of course, the professional managed company, professional organization like SGB. I don't know, Persil maybe call it professional. Don't get hurt. I'm just saying it loud from my heart. Long term, again short term. Professional run company usually is a short term. Especially, you know, this stock up and down. I really feel it's done by this big time broker because every quarter they have to report. They have to report to the shareholder. Oy, itong kita natin, ha? So he has to make money every quarter. Never mind next year because next year baka resign ako eh. No? That's short term. You protect. This year I have to make profit. I have to show good profit. Family corporation, no. They are willing to sacrifice 1 year, 2 years, never mind. So long as I have the long term. Clear, defined hierarchy. Yeah. President, vice president. But, you know, the trend now is not hierarchy, it's not box type, etc. They want executive to be a generalist. Generalist. They want executive who understand accounting, law, human. That's the trend now. Access to large pool, of course. There are large pool of professional people. Operate based performance, especially the bonus system, and that's the cause of the 2018 fiasco, because most of the executive, president, etc., are paid on bonus system. And therefore, they have to show profit to get the bonus. Never mind next year, kung sino naman yung president. Box type environment. As I said, you have accounting ka lang dyan. Treasury ka lang dyan. It's not that way anymore. You do that, you'll be left behind. Buy a company who is limbo, who is flexible, who is decision making quick. But I think, above all else, what matters most is leadership and committed people. I just came back with my wife. We went into Croatia, we were Bosnia, we went into Austria, Czechoslovakia, Vienna. Common denominator of this, they have a one-turn countries just 15, 20 years ago. They have problem about culture, about religion, about political killing everywhere. And yet, I was surprised to see how this country has now progressed much advanced than the Philippines. Roads clean, wide, everything. You cannot differentiate who is rich and who is poor. So I was traveling with former Chief Justice Panganiban. I said, Chief, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? We say, it's our people. I agree with you. And this is what Sisip also told me. When I asked him, Mr. Sisip, tell me one thing to see in a corporation, to see in a family, to see in a country, and that 5 years from now I can predict where that family, where that company, and where that country will be. What will it be? He turned around and said, what do you think, Joe? What should you see? I say, resources. I say, that's the problem of today's world. We are too materialistic. We talk in terms of resources, in terms of money, etc. But you look at South America, you look at South Africa, resources rich. What happened to our country? Don't go too far. Look at our country. We got all everything. What happened to us? He say, no, it's the leadership. It's the leadership and the committed people. So I said, what about the Philippines? Where are we going? He cannot tell. They say, we have the right leader at this time. Meaning, he is saying, for this time of Philippine history, we may have the right leader. Problem is, our people may not be ready. And he said, look at our, sorry girls, look at our newspaper. Look at it. Investigation here, corruption here, killing here. Nothing talk about economy, about labor, about investment. You cannot see that in our headline. So how can you be a progressive country like that? So that is not already a sin, right? And that is something I think we should share. All right. I'm thinking fair share. SharePHIL. Yeah, fairness, accountability, independence, transparency, honor. What is your social responsibility? What is your corporate governance? I was attending the last 2 weeks. The Trust Committee, the Investment Committee, the Private Banking, Wealth Management. And in every client, they have a fact sheet and a questionnaire. What is the client? Is he short-term investor? Is he medium-term investor? Or is he, so that you can properly invest your money if you know your client. Is he a conservative? Is he a moderate? Is he a risk taker? And I tracked in my mind, this may be useful for SharePHIL, member of SharePHIL. You have to consider what you are. Are you an investor, long-term investor, or are you a short-term investor? Are you a conservative or a risk taker? Because each company has its own profile. In the case of SM, as I said, we are a long-term leader. We look long-term. Now, if you are a short-term investor, you want, like that, then SM is not for you. All right? So, hopefully, this will guide also the other member of SharePHIL. They say, when you hold a meeting, it should not exceed 2 hours. I know we are here now 3 hours. The first 2 hours, you get the attention, 100%. Beyond 2 hours, that attention will drop 50%. Thank you for your attention.